Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Tuesday afternoon. It's been fun in the world of Newcastle the last few days. Crazy back and forth yesterday. Ekitike, Isak. The day pretty much ended on a little bit of a high for Newcastle fans, as it was reported Newcastle had told Liverpool that Isak was not for sale. Lots of people talking about Liverpool playing a bit of a power play, Liverpool trying to say, well, it's either Isak or it's Ekitike. If we don't want Isak, we'll go for Ekitike. And I think the thought process last night waking up this morning was, you know what, Newcastle should get involved, put their stake in the ground. We're keeping Isak, we want Ekitike as well. And look, it's a long summer window. Things can change. What I would love to see happen is exactly what I've just said. But again, we won't count our chickens till they're hatched. However, it would seem that Newcastle are pushing in that direction. Reports this afternoon from Sky Sports that following Newcastle's failed bid for Ekitike yesterday, we are fighting back and pushing again. Newcastle now in advanced talks with Frankfurt and Ekitike to look and try and get the deal done ASAP. Ooh. I certainly hope this one comes off. It would be massive. We spoke about it yesterday. The Isak situation is a crazy one. I could actually argue that maybe Liverpool achieved more yesterday than what we would like to admit. Maybe they've come in. Isak's now looking over his shoulder going, what about Liverpool? You know, the hope for Newcastle is still, you know, Paul Mitchell reports yesterday that he was in talks with Isak about a new deal, and he was the one who decided that he didn't need one. Right, cheers, Paul. And then he walks out the door. But as I say, the Isak one is one that we would love to keep. People are talking about maybe he goes next year, maybe this happens, maybe that happens. If Liverpool do turn around in 2 weeks' time and go, you know what it is, if we want to win the league this year, let's just get Ekitike. So let's just get Isak for 200 million. Like, when you start getting into ridiculous figures like that, I don't care who you are, you can't not listen to the offers. And if people in the comments want to tell me, no, Rob, I don't care how much it is, I want to keep him forever, then that is absolutely fine. And I'm with you. Don't worry about that. But what Newcastle need to do just to be settled, be ready, is bring in a striker now. What bringing Ekitike in would do for Newcastle isn't just the here and now. It's, first off, the reports are that Eddie Howe wants both Ekitike and Isak up front together. And that's what we've been talking about all kind of the last 3 or 4 weeks, up until yesterday when the Isak boat got a little bit rocked. But it's understood that Newcastle still want Isak, still want Ekitike, want both playing up front together next season. You talk about Isak being the difference for Liverpool trying to aim for another league title. It takes Newcastle into a new realm of what we are able to do forward up the pitch. Still want to see a goalie, still want to see a centre-back. I'm not getting greedy. Would like to see more happening in that centre midfield position, and we will talk about Sean Longstaff in a moment. But, as I say, Newcastle getting in Ekitike just gives so much more stability to the situation. Look, if we get into a position where it's the end of this summer window, we've got Isak and Ekitike, massive win. If we then get into next summer and Isak's potentially looking at a Real Madrid, Barcelona, well, we've just given Ekitike a full season's worth of Newcastle, and he's able to lead the line for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it may be. Or if we do land ourselves in a position this summer, and my hope would still be that Isak signs a new deal, we'll get another year out of him, another 2 years out of him, longer with them together. But if Liverpool walk in and offer astronomical money, we're not talking 100 million. I don't think Newcastle say yes to 100 million. Like, genuinely, I don't think we do. I think Isak will have another blinding season for Newcastle this season, and he'll still be worth that with 2 years on his deal next season. So there is no rush. Bearing in mind as well, sitting here as a Newcastle fan and talking about turning down 120, that was the rumoured fee yesterday with Liverpool, turning down £120 million bids for Isak or any player. Bearing in mind, 5 years ago, we were protesting outside the ground. So we're in a new world now. So as much as yesterday, I think I've aged about 5 years just being in this conversation and just enjoying the links, the talks, the reports to these big signings is amazing. But as I say, if we do find ourselves in a position at the end of this summer where Liverpool come in and offer, let's just go for it, 150, 160, 170 million pounds, and Newcastle go, I think we'll have to do it. If we've already got Ekitike, then we've lined ourselves up. If we don't settle ourselves in a position now and have someone ready, and we do end up at the end of this, Liverpool come in one day before the window ends, 200 million. Oh, crap. We don't have a backup here. So Newcastle are doing the right things. Newcastle are pushing. And as I say, you talk about Liverpool's power play. I'm really hoping this is Newcastle's power play. All the talk yesterday, and if we come out of it in the next few days with the Ekitike holding up a black and white shirt, have both of them at Newcastle, would be sensational. The only extra cherry on the cake you could add is that at the end of the same week, Isak signs himself a new deal. So yes, big news coming out early this afternoon that Newcastle have stepped up the chase to try and land Ekitike. They haven't been put off by the rejection. They are pushing to get it done. The reports are that he has a release clause of 86 million, and we're already in the 70 million pound mark. So, I know we like to scrimp and save because of PSR and whatever else, but honestly, the elation I would have if we just went, you know what it is, boom, 86 million, get it done. Maybe I'm talking with my heart more than my head now, because that is a lot of money. But you let me know your thoughts on that one down below. And as we talk about players coming in, there was the reports this morning of a player leaving, and it is Sean Longstaff. So we'll quickly touch on Sean Longstaff. Obviously, he has been linked to go to Leeds over the last few weeks now. Reports were that Leeds had, I think, 3 bids rejected, but Newcastle have now accepted the final bid, which looks to be around 12 plus 2 million, or around 12 to 14 million for the player. And the reports are that he's ready to go and that he's on his way down there to do a medical. So big up Sean Longstaff. We talk about players coming at the end of their contracts, losing value. He's got 1 year left on his deal, and it was probably the right time for him to go. Yeah, I'll stand by that. I think it was a good time. Arguably, as good time to go would have been a season or two ago when we finished 4th and people were offering 40 million for him. But never, and then since then, he hasn't really got a lot of game time. So you could argue that his right time to go was actually a few years ago. You could argue that Miguel Almiron's right time to go was actually a few years ago. Newcastle, we're getting there. We're slowly learning how to sell people. I would have rather would have done all of them 2 years prior and got probably double the money that we're actually getting for them. I think Leeds are getting a bit of a steal, actually, at just 12 million for Longstaff. I think 27 years old. He's a fantastic player. You just need to get it out of him. Because we have definitely seen the best of Sean Longstaff at Newcastle. I think he's had some fantastic games. He's a Geordie lad. He's going to live the dream. He won the first domestic cup in 70 years. He will be part of the statue of the squad, or the big banner, or whatever it is. He will always be remembered as one of the players that was part of that side that brought a trophy, brought Champions League back to St James's Park, scored in the Champions League against a 4-1 win against PSG. So I don't think, in any Newcastle fans' wildest dreams to think they would do that. He went and did it. He went and lived the dream. And I've said this for a while, and I've always thought that Sean Longstaff would probably just stay here forever. He's got the homegrown quota. I don't think we've got any. We've got no homegrown players. Yeah, you get it. So there's 8 homegrown, but 4 of them have to be club grown. Miley's too young anyway. Gillespie left before he'd been here long enough when he was young. Longstaff? Is that it? So I don't actually think... Have we got none? Oh, there must be someone. So yeah, long story short is, Sean would have got a Champions League spot regardless, just because that he's a Geordie. But if he's not going to get played, he's not going to get any game time. You could argue that Miley's a step ahead of him now. You talk about Newcastle looking at, the likes of Conor Gallagher's been linked. I don't really see that one, to be honest. I like the look of Amir Richardson from Fiorentina. That one was linked about a month ago, went quiet, but I really like him, actually, so that will be one I'd like to hear more on. But it's 12 million, don't sound great, but it's homegrown. And because of that, it's pure profit for Newcastle. You talk about the how PSR works over so many years. So because the injection of that 12 million goes into our bank immediately, but then if we signed a player for 5 years, you only have to pay them off over 5 years. So technically, Longstaff's fee could be a fifth of the way to a new £50 million player. So it sets us up for this summer. You talk about Kelly going for 20 million. He was free. Again, so the profit would obviously be high for that one as well. So again, that's a £20 million injection. If you put Kelly's 20 million on Ekitike, that pays off his first year of his £100 million deal, but we have to just find 20 million next year, sell Target, sell. So this is why Newcastle need to do this. This is why, fair enough, what we need to do is shirt sponsors, training ground sponsors, stadium sponsors. We need to do all sorts of stuff. But if we're not doing that, what we need to do is be rolling, player trading, is what Darren Neal's like to call it. And it looks like we've done a little bit of that of late. And I wish Longstaff the very best, actually. He seems like a lovely bloke off the field. Clearly worked hard for us, had some great time. But for him as well, go and get that payday, go and get that signing on fee from Leeds, go and have hopefully some good times with them, hopefully getting some more football. You know, as I say, it's one thing to say, oh, he's a Geordie lad, he'll stick it around. You know, he's going to live the Geordie dream now. Does he want to sit on the bench for the next 3-4 years of his career after having probably achieved such heights? Or does he want to go and actually try and get some first team football? So, yes, big up Longstaff. Hope it all goes well for him. Thoughts and comments down below on Longstaff leaving the club. Thoughts and comments on Newcastle not backing down, stepping up the fight to bring in Hugo Ekitike alongside Alexander Isak. Whew. And honestly, this is development hour by the hour, minute by the minute. I found 5 minutes to sit down, have a break, talk to you guys about this one. But yeah, let me know. Thoughts and comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.